Hello, my name is Samantha, and this is my analysis on the documentary All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. This documentary was made in 2022 and directed by Laura Poitras. It focuses on the life of Nan Goldin, showing pictures and slideshows depicting the loss of her sister to her exploration of queer culture, from her dealing with addiction up to her activism work against the Sackler family and for helping those who deal with addiction. The documentary focuses on what Goldin does today, with the help of her friends from pain, protesting in different Sackler-funded institutions, and fighting to take down the Sackler name because of their involvement in the opioid crisis, after profiting off of OxyContin. The central thesis of this documentary is how much change we can make against those in power that look to silence voices such as the Sacklers, and how corruption and secrets can lead to the deaths of thousands. The first type of strong evidence used in the documentary was personal experience. The documentary focuses a lot on Goldin's resentment toward the Sackler family, who she believes is a corrupt, heartless family that has profited off the deaths of thousands affected by the opioid crisis. One of the reasons for Nan Goldin's anger toward the Sackler family was because of her own addiction to OxyContin. Goldin had dealt with addiction before, and later went to rehab in the 80s. However, many years later after getting surgery, Goldin was prescribed OxyContin, took it as she was told, and quickly became addicted. Fortunately, she was able to recover through medication-assisted treatment, which she described as a lengthier process to get a hold of compared to being prescribed OxyContin. Ever since Goldin had to face one of the many barricades that prevents addicts from getting assistance, she now advocates for help for addicts to be more accessible. Goldin's experience, organization, and name in the art world had been persuasive, as she'd been a big contributor in taking down the Sackler name after their lives led to many deaths. Sadly, Nan Goldin was not the only one who had to deal with this. The second type of strong evidence used in the documentary was testimony. During a court call with the Sacklers, few of the very many who had loved ones or themselves who fell victim to OxyContin confronted the Sacklers with their sadness and anger. One of the first testimonies came from a mother whose daughter was found dead because of an overdose of OxyContin. The next testimony came from a father with a son in college who also later died because of an overdose. After that was another testimony, one of the victims who survived their addiction to OxyContin, shaming the Sackler family for what they did. The last testimony followed a 911 call from the mother of her only son who was also, again, found unresponsive because of OxyContin. These many testimonies were persuasive because it was very representative of how there were many families and lives that were affected because of the opioid crisis caused by the Sacklers. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed was somewhat persuasive. The documentary focused more on the personal and emotional aspects of the opioid crisis and did well on that side of the argument. However, the documentary was lacking in opposing perspectives. It shows personal experiences and various testimonies, and at some points shows statistics of the Sacklers' damage, but it does not show what the Sacklers have to say, only what they do. Though they lacked opposing perspectives, they were very emotionally persuasive, which is good for an audience that solely looks for that in an argument. That was it for my documentary analysis. Thank you for listening.